The Link prequel, which is called the Bridon Arc or Ingtopian, should finally explain to us the mysteries that have been haunting us since seasons 1 and 2. But before we talk about the theories and speculations behind the Bridon Arc trailers that had been released recently, there is something that Cheng Xiaoshi fans need to accept by now. Yes, he really died! Oh my god! Maybe we can calm down for a bit because Lu Guang appears to be doing a fine job in keeping Cheng Xiaoshi alive. We see season 2 Cheng Xiaoshi after all, but maybe that won't be for long. Anyway, I aim to release this video before the Bridon arc premieres, which is very soon. So, if you've already seen it before you watch this video, of course you would know better than me by then. But maybe there might be other things that are not yet in the episodes. So, I will share to you guys some of the fan theories that I've come across with. I'll also share some of my own. I've tried to narrow them down into particular key points. With that, if you don't mind potential spoilers and are interested to know about ideas that may torment you later, then without further ado, let the pain start. The mysterious Cheng Weimin that was mentioned in the first trailer is now confirmed to be Cheng Xiaoshi's father. Although both of Cheng Xiaoshi's parents disappeared, there was a strange emphasis on the father. I think there are two possibilities. First is that his father might have superpowers too, and Cheng Xiaoshi inherited them. Or Cheng Xiaoshi is the only one with superpowers, and his parents, especially his father, researched about time travel occult so that he can help his son. So it will be more like he is aware of the powers, sort of like in Tianjin's situation. But regardless whether Cheng Weimin has powers or not, his disappearance along with his wife must have been caused by supernatural phenomenon. What the Shakespeare book got to do with it, now that's a big mystery. But an even bigger mystery is why Liu Xiao is looking for him. I doubt he's looking for Cheng Weimin with good intentions. I fear that he's going to pretend to be friendly to the duo with the excuse of helping Cheng Xiaoshi find his father. In any case, we know how desperate Cheng Xiaoshi is in seeing his parents again. So of course, he would want to go to Bridon no matter what. Supposedly, Lu Guang and Ling would have given Cheng Xiaoshi full support on his quest to find his parents. But they seem to be hesitant, which brings us to the next point. There was a text in blue, which implies to be Lu Guang's line, saying that someone should not go to Bridon no matter what. It strongly hints that he's referring to Cheng Xiaoshi. The mystery woman is saying the same, and she seems to be speaking to either Lu Guang or Cheng Xiaoshi's father, but most likely to Lu Guang. Anyway, looks like a lot of people are in agreement to keep Cheng Xiaoshi away from Bridon, including Ling. She and Cheng Xiaoshi seem to be arguing in this scene because Ling is also opposed to Cheng Xiaoshi going to Bridon. The text after that scene says that it was an argument between two people that shouldn't have happened, with the emphasis on shouldn't have happened. So it might mean that based on the various futures in which Lu Guang has seen or gone through himself, this argument might have been something that had never happened before. It was something that Ling wouldn't have opposed to if she hadn't seen the Cheng Xiaoshi from Lu Guang's memories. But these two might not even have anything to argue about in the first place, if only that photo didn't show up. Of course, the trailer could have just been misleading us and is referring to an entirely different arguing pair. But that photo is definitely another key point. Director Lee had shared one of the filming location references of the Bridon arc, and fans have found that this place is based on the University College London. And in the Link world, it's actually Xiafei's school. It's strange that we see that photo on the scene with Lu Guang drowning. We also see it in a scene where it's being burned. I wonder if it's even the same photo that Cheng Xiaoshi is looking at on this scene. They might even be looking for the building during this scene. Or maybe not. Anyway, there's probably something with the building that is related to time travel phenomenon in general, or to some big event that affected Cheng Xiaoshi's parents, or to Cheng Xiaoshi. Or maybe the significant clue that Cheng Xiaoshi is looking for is Xiafei himself. I think it's pretty clear that Xiafei has a very, 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 very big role in the Bridon arc. I think it's safe to say that Xiafei is indeed working together with these psychos. Or maybe it will be more accurate to say that he is working for them. Xiafei has a talent in pretending, the basic qualities of an actor. So even if he becomes friends with Cheng Xiaoshi and Lu Guang, there's a high chance that he was only doing it because of orders. I wonder who he is talking with on the phone on this scene. If it's either Liu Xiao or Vane, I would be very worried because he looked happy. He might be seeing them as his saviors. The modeling gig should have saved him from poverty after all. He doesn't need to do all those part-time jobs anymore. And they might even be the first people whom Xiafei met that knows about superpowers. And that makes me feel more sorry for Xiafei. Anyway, I think it's very possible for Xiafei to be the one who will help Cheng Xiaoshi solve the mystery behind his parents. They might have even become close enough to hang out in a bar together and run away together. Some drunkards seem to be chasing the trio in this scene. I think Lu Guang happened to be closest to the door, or was the one who initially sensed the danger. So he was the one who escaped first. And of course, he will be followed by Cheng Xiaoshi. And after Cheng Xiaoshi, we see Xiafei, and it's possibly because Xiafei was close to Cheng Xiaoshi's location. Or maybe I'm just making such a big deal about this scene because I'm so desperate for Xiafei and Shiguang interaction. But anyway, there's something else that's more important in this scene. More important than anything I have discussed so far. And it's the kitty cat. It's on Cheng Xiaoshi's head, but it fell down. Oh, why? How could they lose it so soon? It pains me not to see much of Ling in the trailers, but the optimistic side of me is thinking that it's because they cannot show her much due to it being too spoilery. The Bridon arc is about the overseas trip of the duo, right? Just the duo. It was the trip wherein Ling didn't join since we saw her hanging out with Su Shanshan during this episode in season 1. But I'd like to believe that she will be going to Bridon with them in some way. But most probably not. But whether she goes to Bridon or not, I just wish for her to have more screen time. Anyway, there's a quick scene of her during their childhood. That light might have something to do with Cheng Xiaoshi's parents disappearing. Or maybe it was Lu Guang and or Cheng Xiaoshi traveling to as far as their childhood, but as themselves. Or that might even be the time when Cheng Xiaoshi discovered his powers. On this scene wherein Cheng Xiaoshi looks so lost and confused, some fans speculate that this might have been the time when Cheng Xiaoshi used his powers for the first time. This place could still be in China or could actually be in Britain already. Well, whatever happened here, I think it is similar to what happened to Cheng Xiaoshi in season 1 over here. So I think on this scene, he has been shouting Lu Guang's name, looking for him, looking desperately for him, but those lines weren't included in the trailer. Maybe to minimize the spoilers. I have another interpretation of this scene. Maybe this is the part when Cheng Xiaoshi had sensed about Lu Guang being in danger. You know, like a spider sense from Spider-Man. So that is Cheng Xiaoshi's sixth sense, the Lu Guang danger detector. Okay, I'm joking. That's actually just my wishful thinking. In one of the trailers, there's a part which says that in order for them to save everyone, they will need to go to the past. Since it's in yellow color, it is implied to be Cheng Xiaoshi's line. So most likely, Cheng Xiaoshi, or perhaps together with Lu Guang, already made an attempt to change the past before. But I don't know why that's such a big deal to Vane that he's been hunting Lu Guang to punish him for changing the past. I've got an idea, but I will explain that later. Anyway, back to the punishment, it's now pretty clear that Vane is not just referring to Lu Guang, but to Chen Xiaoshi as well. It's because of his dialogue in Chinese. He said 你们, which is you in plural form. And it looks like he already did some punishment before since he was like asking if Lu Guang wants another one. But there was only one way to punish Lu Guang. And oh, that makes Vane a prime suspect for killing Cheng Xiaoshi. And Vane is trying to punish Lu Guang again. Oh, I hope he fails. Speaking of failure, it seems that Lu Guang didn't expect to be successful in changing the past, but he tried it anyway, and the puppy is back. Anyway, as we already know, Lu Guang is desperate to save Cheng Xiaoshi, no matter how dangerous it is. And being the smart type and the believer of the occult, he appears to be already aware of the butterfly effect. He knows that any change in the past, no matter how subtle, may lead to different outcomes. He thought that it might be possible for him to control the future if he is aware of all the conditions or possible events in advance and use them to his advantage. No wonder why he said that everything is under control. Or so he thinks. Our dear Lu Guang is so delusional. There is no way he can keep things in control. So even if he does his best to keep a butterfly secured in some container, there may be someone who can smash it, even if they hurt themselves by doing it. Liu Xiao and Vane are definitely tough obstacles to his goal. It's possible that Xiafei might be an even bigger obstacle, which explains why Liu Xiao and Vane are so interested in him. But the biggest obstacle to Lu Guang's plans is most likely Cheng Xiaoshi himself. This reminds me of the time when Cheng Xiaoshi tried to change the past in order to prevent Lu Guang from getting kidnapped. And you guys remember who ruined that plan, right? There's something confusing about the trailers. Sometimes they talk about the past being changed. Then sometimes they talk about things that are happening being the same as in the past. It's contradicting. Or maybe it means that the past was supposed to have been changed, but because of someone's intervention, all of a sudden, things are happening the same as in the past. You know, like to undo one's mistakes. But that was somewhat clarified by the latest trailer when Lu Guang said that it's time itself that is making things back as they were. But he also contradicted himself again. My brain hurts, but I don't mind more. Lu Guang has no plans on giving up. He will do whatever it takes to save Cheng Xiaoshi. So he goes back to the beginning. And that beginning is most likely referring to the time when they were playing basketball. That beginning wherein Cheng Xiaoshi already sees him as a partner. That dialogue is suspicious, but I suppose that's a topic for another time. Anyway, about the old name of the Time Photo Studio, which is the Hero Photo Studio, I think it should be safe to assume that the hero part on the studio name is Cheng Xiaoshi's idea. It's giving the impression that he already sees himself as a hero since childhood. Huh? Then that would mean he already knew he has powers long ago? But that didn't make sense, since if he did, he could have already used his powers to reverse time in order to find his parents, right? Or maybe I'm just mistaken. Anyway, Cheng Xiaoshi's introduction in the trailer, wherein he was offering his services, hints that he already works in the studio before he met Lu Guang. He was working on the studio alone, and he doesn't only print photos, but he can even fix cameras too. But if he was already working when they first met, it also doesn't make sense since they already met in high school, right? Unless that's their meeting in another timeline. I wonder which beginning is the current timeline. Guessing the high school one since it seems to be their original first meeting. And that's a total of 10 key points. Actually, there should have been more. But if I include them, then I fear that the first episode of the Bridon arc will finish before this video is released. Okay, fine. I can't help it. I'll try to squeeze in my favorite. On the latest trailer, You guys have also noticed the scene of Lukwang wearing earrings, right? There are several theories about it, and I think the popular ones can be summarized into two. First is that it means Lukwang is actually not human. So, he might be some fairy or other supernatural creature based on a Chinese or British folklore. Or maybe he is simply an angel or a demon. Oh my god, Zhang Xiaoshi, did you just make a literal angel fall from heaven for you? Ay- Anyway, that theory would explain why Lu Kuang cannot have a specific age or why he looks so young despite having white hair. Possibly, Vane is similar to him, which would somehow explain why both of them can enter this place that looks like some time related dimension. It would also explain why Vane is so fixated on punishing him. Maybe that is Vane's mission when Lu Kuang broke the rules of their realm. But that is most likely just my crazy imagination. The other theory is that Lu Kuang is just in cosplay. His earrings look similar to when he wore some traditional Chinese outfit in some official art. Oh, I wish Cheng Xiaoshi had joined him with the cosplay, but it's possible that Cheng Xiaoshi would claim that he needs to focus on being a photographer. Oh well, anyway, I've got no idea why he would wear cosplay at this point in time. But of course, I'm not complaining. Although Lu Guang doesn't seem to be the type to have such a hobby, I don't find it surprising since Cheng Xiaoshi already managed to make him wear a kitty hat and cat pajamas after all. Now, how about you guys? Why do you think Lu Guang has those earrings? And what do you think about the other theories shared so far? I think that most of these speculations will turn out to be wrong anyway, but it was fun to talk about them. So, if you have enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it if you click the like button. That always motivates me to create more videos like this. There is so much to talk about now that the Bridon arc is here. I already had a lot of headache and heartache from just the opening and ending themes. So make sure to subscribe in order to be notified once the next link click video is ready, okay? Thanks. And as always, thank you so much for watching and I hope to see you again. Take care.